When you're a small pork family in the forest, staying together is the key to a happy life. But it's easy to get separated among the thick foliage and tall trees. How can you see each other with all the shrubs and bushes in the way? How can you hear each other when the wind is rustling through the leaves? No, it's best to smell your way back to hearth and home. The Javelina does just that, and they've developed a stinky fingerprint to tell each other apart in life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. And a very special thank you to our patrons, to Jesse Raspolich, Carol Raspolich, Richard Kaspar, Lottie Nobry, Gray Hughes, and Wednesday Rabbit. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on.
And today we're talking about a forest pig that can clear the hacienda after every meal. A little more on that later.
I did not know that this animal existed until my wife, Bibby, told me about a book she grew up reading that features 3 of these guys. It's pretty much just the Big Bad Wolf story, but just with these hairy boys.
I also did not know about them until recently.
I mean, I at this point I've known about them for years, but I had never heard of these animals until you were like, oh, you never read the. Well, I'll go ahead and say what we're talking about. We're talking about the Javelina. And there's a book called Los Tres Pequeños Javelies, I think that's the Spanish version, but Javelinas. And the artwork on it is weird. I will say that.
Huh.
It's a little disturbing. But this is the peccary.
Yeah.
An animal you will see a lot of if you play Horizon Zero Dawn. And you're like, what? What's a peccary? Oh, it's a pig. It's also known as what's called the peccary. It's also called the saino, the taitetu, the bakiro, the skunk pig, the musk hog, and the quenk. 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 Sounds like a slur.
It does.
But we're going to call it here the pungent pork chop and Smelon musk. Let's taxonomize this.
Okay.
Let's journey into the world of science through the scary door. The kingdom is one you know, love, and are in, and that's Animalia. The phylum, Chordata. Class, Mammalia. Same old song and dance. Mm-hmm. The order is Artiodactyla. So same order as humpback whales, as we like to say.
Ungulates.
Yeah,
2 or
ungulates.
5 toes.
2 or 5?
Yeah, odd toes. What?
2 is one of those things is not true.
Equally on 2 of their 5 toes. Never mind.
There we go. So even-toed ungulates. I was like 5. There's no way. The suborder is Suina, which is swine. I always thought swine and pigs was like they were synonyms, interchangeable. But no, swine are the entire suborder over all of the animals below it, of which pigs and hogs and peccaries are members of. The family is Tayasuidae. I wonder if this is where truffle farmers get that suey.
Yeah, probably.
Suing. They're just lovers of taxonomy, and they just happen to know what the suborder name was. The genus is Tayasu, and the species is peccary. Picari Sweat is a sports drink in Japan.
Ew.
It doesn't taste like sweat, but it is nasty. But my parents lived in Japan for 2 years before I was born, and they had this bottle that said Picari Sweat on it. And for most of my childhood, that's the bottle my dad drank out of for water and stuff like that. And it's just so weird that just this bottle said sweat on it. It was like so gross. And then I went to Japan and had a can of Picari Sweat, and I was like, I would rather drink sweat. Anyway, it's not spelled this way. Anyway. Okay. So the binomial nomenclature is Tayasu Picari. And since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for my favorite part of the show, nitty gritty nomenclature. Gotcha. They live in herds. They're basically pigs. They're not pigs, but they're basically pigs. So this is the part of the show where I ask you, Joe, what is the English translation for the binomial nomenclature Tayasu Picari? Does that mean A, big-toothed peccary, B, hard-bristled peccary, C, burrowing peccary, or D, stinky peccary? Big-toothed, hard-bristled, burrowing, or stinky? I don't think I was gonna pull one over on you of what the species name meant.
I'm going to go with stinky. Final answer.
You would like that, wouldn't you? The answer is big-toothed. It's a Tupi word. Tupi is a language spoken by indigenous Brazilian tribes. And they gave it the name Big Tooth, which is also a fitting moniker for this guy.
It does have big teeth.
Yeah. I'll describe that and other things about it right now. By the way, Javelina do you know what that's Spanish for?
No.
Javelin.
Okay.
It makes perfect sense. So yeah, it's called it's basically a javelin pig. So it looks like a little wild boar or like a razorback, if it was sort of mouseified. It's got this short, squat body with stubby little pig legs. It's got no tail. It's covered in this coarse, bristly brown, gray, and black fur. Although it gets its name, Tayasu Picari is the white-lipped peccary. So it gets its name from this like patch of white fur that it has on its chinny chin. It makes it look like it has some sort of like beard, or that it's had too many powdered donuts, which I didn't think there was such a thing as too many powdered donuts, but apparently there is once you get a beard made of them. It has the classic pig truffle snout, which I did not know this. Pig snouts, the end, that circular disc at the end is cartilage. Did not know that. So it's actually like hard, and it has 4 large pointed tusks, coming 2 from the bottom, 2 from the top. They don't stick out when the mouth is closed like a warthog, but they are very long and sharp, which is where it gets its name, the javelin. The little javelin, I guess Javelina would be a little javelin. So it is much smaller than if you're imagining a domestic pig or even a feral pig, or a razorback. It's much smaller than that. But how big is it, Joe?
Before we get into that, I just wanted to talk about how they've got, if you're a hunter of boar or pigs, they have terminology for their age or like general age and size. So and there's no like general like theming to these names. If it's a 6-year-old pig, it's an old boar. If it's 7 or older, it's a grand old boar. If it's between 3 and 5, it'll be just simply a boar of the 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th year. If it's 2 years old, it's called Pig of the Sounder.
This sounds British.
Whatever that is. And 10 to 12 months is a juvenile. And 0 to 10 is a squeaker.
Sheesh.
Pig of the Sounder sounds very regal for something that is literally a middling age for a boar.
Yeah, I mean, these guys live... The peccaries live for a while. That's very young.
Oh, a sounder is a group of wild pigs. So a family man.
That is not the term of venery that I found. I just found herd. I did not find a sounder.
Maybe it's just a hunting term for a group.
I'm sure they are pretty loud or noisy. Mm-hmm. So sounder would make sense. But I feel like you need to wear a pith helmet if you're going to call something a pig of the sounder.
You should. Okay. Let's talk about their weight. Welcome to the their height and weight and size. Welcome to the Blood Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show. The part of the show that's introduced by you when you send it out of yourself saying, singing, or chatting. The words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new Measure Up intro this week. Which means we get to hear from an animal, and Carlos has to guess what it is. Also, you can now listen to every single episode on YouTube, not just the ones we've uploaded video episodes for. If you go to our YouTube channel and scroll over to the podcast tab, all of the episodes from the beginning are there.
Even the shameful first batch.
Yes.
That everyone watched.
The first episode with dogs barking, guns going off.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't have recorded that one at the far end of a hot shooting range.
We got somebody to comment first on our Komodo dragon episode.
Someone just said first.
Yeah.
Nice. We're famous.
Yeah, and then that was 18 hours ago, and nobody has been second. So like all episodes basically just got uploaded at once. So there's a lot of episodes for people to be exposed to, but
more avenues for people to get these good animal facts, good animal facts, these good vibrations.
Also, somebody commented on our butterfly, purple monarch. What is that? Purple emperor butterfly episode. Mm-hmm. And somebody said, finally something to feed my purple emperor addiction. Happy to help. Happy to enable.
I ravenously consume Purple Emperor content, and this is the first I'm hearing about a butterfly in that vein.
I hope they're not eating these. These bugs do eat poop. Or no, carrion, right? Carrion.
I don't remember. This is what, episode 345? Can't remember the diets of every butterfly we've covered.
Well,
although I think this is the first pig we've eaten. Ha ha ha. We've covered. I'm hungry. I don't know if you could tell. I've been looking at pictures of pigs this whole time.
All right. Well, without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show.
What's whistling anyway? You put your lips together and blow. Like this. Hello?
Do you know who that is?
I don't know. Is that Peppa Pig?
Yeah, that's Peppa Pig.
Oh, that's one my kids have not gotten into. But I was like, I'm pretty sure Peppa Pig is as British as could possibly be. So I think that jives. There's a Peppa Pig like theme park in Georgia or something like that my friend is taking his kids to. It seems chill. I like kids well, I don't like, but I can tolerate kids shows that are chill a lot more. So maybe we'll do that if the kids are interested. But it's a coin toss whether they'll be interested. I'll show them something like that every kid their age is interested in, like Paw Patrol or the PJ Masks. Like every kid has this, like, all the paraphernalia and loves to watch these shows. They don't care. They're like, I don't want to watch this. I want to watch videos of marbles.
Good.
Yeah, a part of me is like, oh yeah, you guys are going against the grain. But also, that means I have to watch. Well, marbles are fine, but like Blippi. Oh man, Blippi. If anybody, I don't recommend looking it up if you don't have to. I guess we'll say we'll call it there. It's a lot, but it keeps them entertained. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig, indeed. Okie dokie. Well, let's talk about the weight, or the height. At the withers, 20 to 24 inches, or 510 to 610 millimeters. Javelinas are the same height as A. 155,760th the length of Tobago, as in Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago? Tobago.
Is that the one shaped like a T?
I don't know.
One of the islands is shaped like a T. That's how you know it's Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago. What's it shaped like? Oh, I guess it's
I just told you.
No, it's just like a cigar shape.
Then the other one is kind of like a T.
Very sort of like if a T was a slug.
T's can be slugs.
Wait, what the? Trinidad and Tobago is one island. I thought it was a pair of islands, but I guess it's one island that's like separated. Interesting.
It's Turks and Caicos. Those are the ones that are separated.
No, it is two islands. It's just like one country. Who knows? Is it that, or is it the exact height of the Mona Lisa? Or is
the
it
exact height of the Mona Lisa?
Or is it C 1/8 a pipe organ cactus?
What was the height again?
24 inches.
Trinidad, or to whichever one. That one, the island. Final answer.
Final answer. The correct answer is 1/8 a
The Mona
pipe
Lisa.
organ cactus,
Oh,
which I think they eat.
they definitely like to eat cactuses.
I don't. I prefer not to.
I'm sure, like the inside flesh is nutritious and delicious under certain circumstances.
Let's talk weight. They're 35 to 60 pounds, or 16 to 27 kilograms. Javelinas are the same weight as 1/3 of the bronze cast of the Thinker at the Met, the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Or C, 1/29th. No. Sorry. 1/29-inch Vevor demolition jackhammer, as in the same weight. Or C, a standard Western horse saddle.
I like that when it's like 1-to-1s more than when it's like in infinitesimal units.
Me too, but that'll make it easier.
A 60-pound saddle, that seems like too much. Far too much. Jackhammer, though, that's possible. And I feel like a bronze statue would weigh more than 180 pounds. A lot more. So we're going to go with the second one. Jackhammer. Final answer.
The correct answer was 1/3 the bronze cast of the Thinker at the Met.
Is it really small? What's up with this like less than 200-pound statue?
So the Thinker, there are many casts of the Thinker. It was originally cast to be a part of like this larger collage of sculptures.
Oh, it is pretty small. Yeah.
So Auguste Rodin's The Thinker's real name is actually The Poet, because it was inspired by Dante from Dante's Inferno. And it was originally part of a collage of sculptures called Hell's Gate, or the Gates of Hell. And it was like Dante thinking at the Gates of Hell.
It is very small. It's a lot smaller than I was anticipating.
Now, if you're thinking I have seen giant ones of this, or like full size and bigger, that's true. They call them study size, like you can keep it in your study, and monumental sizes. And there are monumental casts of the Thinker.
Yep. Okay. I feel like the jackhammer was...
It was about 70 pounds. It was close.
No, a little more. Yeah.
A bigger...
I can't imagine a saddle, because you see them like picking it up and throwing it over a horse. Mm-hmm. If it weighs 60 pounds, it's not impossible, but...
I used to shoot womp rats.
Yeah, it's not impossible. You used to shoot womp rats in your T16 back home.
Mm-hmm.
You used to throw 60-pound saddles on top of your poor horse all the time, using just your unlimited upper body strength. Because I've carried a lot of 50-pound bags of corn, and so that's popping corn for a job I had, and so that's like my standard for 50 pounds, and it's pretty heavy. You don't want to be carrying that for too long. And my son is 50 pounds, and I don't want to be carrying him for too long either.
Well, that's all I got for that. Do you have any fast facts before we get into the major fact?
I do. So the white-lipped peccary lives in the rainforest and arid scrublands of Central and South America, as far north as Southern California and as far south as Argentina. It is omnivorous, like most animals in this family, or most swine, I guess I can say. They eat just all kinds of things. But the white-lipped peccary mostly eats agave leaves, which are kind of like they're like big aloe. aloe vera plants. Just imagine that. And they eat prickly pear cactuses. So, and aloe is like a cactus. It's a spiny succulent. And so, those are the kinds of things it goes for. But it will also eat fruit, veggies, roots, grass, leaves, eggs, bugs, and even small animals like rodents, frogs, lizards, snakes, things like that. It's ravenous, and it does not discriminate. But the tables can be turned. It is also a prey animal. It lives in the rainforest, and it is a bite-sized pig. So it is eaten by jaguars, coyotes, cougars, wolves, bobcats, and possibly even the American crocodile. They have digestive systems that are actually pretty similar to ruminants. Even though they are not ruminants, they don't chew the cud. They don't have, but they have separate chambers for their digestive system, and the fermentation happens in the foregut instead of, for most pigs, where it happens in the hindgut. And it can live for about 24 years in the wild, so that's why like a 3 or 4 year old pig, or a pig of the sound, or whatever you said, that's really early on in its lifespan, even though it would be pretty close to sexual maturity at that point. They can live long enough to drink and own a pistol in the United States.
Good.
And they also have the ability to quickly snap those tusks I mentioned together in a way that makes this really loud, rapid clacking sound that is intended to scare away predators. And it is a really sharp and intense crack, like a bullwhip crack almost. So that's their defense mechanism outside of just straight up biting something. So I will leave it at there, and I'll let you talk about maybe something a little bit more major.
Okay, I'm calling this major fact: the family that stinks together
Stays together?
Yeah, it's more like a family that stinks together. ... Just for us to think about.
Hopefully it stays together. I see.
Mm-hmm. Javelinas have a distinct scent gland, actually more than one, that plays a crucial role in their social behavior and even territory marking. These scent glands are located on their back, specifically in the mid-dorsal lumbar area, about 8 inches like from the base of the tail. So on the small of the back. If you were dancing, if you wanted a classy way to direct this pig, if this pig was your date and you needed a classy way to direct them, to show them like to their seat or something, you would gracefully touch this scent gland. Yeah.
Yeah, gracefully touch them directly on their stink gland. That's that is etiquette 101.
Exactly. Yes.
Gotcha.
The secretions of these glands are quite malodorous, which means stinky, and it's compared to the scent of a skunk. Javelinas use these scent glands to mark their territory by rubbing against rocks and tree stumps and even each other. So they have a unique social behavior where they rub their scent glands on each other to help identify family members and strengthen social bonds. So if you smell like me, then we're family. But the scent marking behavior ensures that each member of the group carries a combined scent, which helps them recognize each other and maintain group cohesion. In other words, the family all like mark each other, and it kind of combines to have a a unique family smell. So you can find your family again by smelling this unique smell profile.
So everyone's got their own thing going on, but there's also like a familial overtone
stink,
happening. Yeah.
It's almost like a fingerprint stink.
Yeah, but everyone's got their own, but you also have like I have my fingerprint, but then I also have got like my family's. It resembles my family's fingerprint. We all have similar fingerprints, but they are distinct.
The strong odor does not significantly deter predators, unlike a skunk. While the smell is pungent and can be unpleasant, it primarily serves as a social or territorial purpose rather than a self-defense thing. So, javelinas still, like you said, still get eaten by a ton of stuff, but they rely on their tusks, group herding behavior, and just running away to protect themselves from coyotes and mountain lions and other stuff.
Yeah, I feel like if the musk doesn't deter predators, it instead is a giant neon sign saying "dinner served here."
Yeah. But there's other deterrents like tusks. And pigs are usually pretty hardy. If you ever went boar hunting, that's what they probably would tell you. But speaking of boar hunters, human javelina hunters take care not to get the scent glands or the oozes from the scent glands on any of the edible meat when they're like dressing something that they've a javelina that they've caught. Because the scent will literally ruin the meat. It will taint the meat. It is so pungent.
Nice. It's the last sticking it to the hunters all the way to the last.
Yes.
I'll spoil my own meat with my yuck glands.
Exactly. But that's all I got.
Well, I've never seen a peccary up close, but I feel like I'd smell it before I saw it.
Yep.
They seem to be very populous in this part of the world, in the American tropics.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent a fair amount of time there, so I'm surprised I haven't seen one. Maybe I have, and I was just like, "Oh, look, a pig," and just kept moving on with my life. But I feel like I would have been like, "Oh, look, it's a large teacup pig," because they're just so. It's like they look like boars that have just been kept. They were kept in their original jar for a little bit too long in their first instar, and so they're a little squished.
Yeah, like a regular wild boar, like a North American wild boar, can be huge.
Yeah. But these guys aren't even in the same family.
Yeah.
Because the family of Tayasuidae is New World pigs.
True, yeah.
But all right, you got anything else?
That's all I got.
All right, that was the javelina, the white-lipped peccary. For you out there in Podcastia, don't be picky. Hang out with kindred pigs and sniff that stinky musk like the javelina here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
Ew.
Sniff it.
Disgusting.